Hey everyone, this is my final take of this video, and then I'm done, because it is 12:20 at night, and I'm doing this because, I don't know, I'm a perfectionist, and I want this to be smart and good and all the other things. So hey, this is Vlogmas Day 2, and I'm talking about Booktube, and I'm talking about creativity and autopiloting, and my thoughts about that. Disclaimer time, hey, these are my opinions, these are my thoughts about this. Obviously, everyone's thoughts are going to be different, and every person is different, and these are obvious things that I'm saying, but I feel like I just want to say that because I don't want to offend anyone or make anyone feel uncomfortable. So yeah, first off, I want to talk about how weird Booktube is. Booktube is very bizarre. Booktube is one of the most bizarre things. YouTube is very bizarre, but Booktube is also bizarre. Basically, Booktube it starts from this moment you have, or this experience you have with a book. I have Furiously Happy. And you've had this experience, you've read this book, and while you're reading it, or after you read it, you're like, holy crap. That was intense. That was an intensely personal experience I've had with this piece of literature, with this author, with this story. This intense experience may be a negative one, it may be a positive one. It may not be that intense at all, but it may just be an experience. And it's a very personal experience. It's a personal experience that can change your life. It's a personal experience that can make a big difference in your life. And that's really crazy. And that's the all of the different effects and effects literature can have on a person, or books can have on a person. And what happens with us booktubers, or with people who love to read and who make YouTube videos, want to share that experience with someone, and we broadcast that experience to the world, so we can make those connections. And it's just crazy, and it's really cool. And I don't know, I just wanted to say that because I've been thinking about that, and that's kind of the basis of my little Osole tag in some ways, is talking about those intensely personal experiences. But anyway, moving on from the first half to this video to the second half. Second half of this video is about creativity and autopiloting. I've watched a couple videos. I watched Priscilla's from the Readables video. Fun fact, she was the first booktuber I ever subscribed to. I think Raylene was like the second one. And then the other video was Why Mermaids. And they were both talking about creativity and autopiloting. And this is such an interesting topic. It's especially interesting from my perspective because I don't do format videos. I don't do videos that follow really any structure. I don't do monthly wrap-ups. I don't do like monthly book hauls. I don't do monthly TBRs. I don't do sort of consistent reviews. And I respect those things. Those are the fundamentals of Booktube. Those are the things that make up the basis of Booktube for the most part. A lot of the channels I watch follow those fundamentals, and they're beautiful. They're beautifully done. They are done by illustrious, wonderful, beautiful, amazing, perfect, great, intelligent, intellectual booktubers who do these videos. They do other videos too, but those videos are also their basis of their booktube channels. And I love them. I really love them. There's a simplicity and a good way and a beauty to knowing what you're getting. Not knowing the content, but knowing the format. And it's really great. I can't do that. Personally, I have trouble doing that. I've tried in the past, but it wasn't fun for me. And Booktube should be about doing what's fun for you, or doing what's exciting for you. And for me, what's fun for me is being my scatterbrain self, is allowing myself the opportunity and the leeway and the space to do whatever I feel like doing in the moment. If that means being really serious, if that means not being serious, if that means doing book videos, if that means doing music videos, if that means doing vlogs, if that means doing whatever. I was having a conversation with my sister today about that. How I don't follow really any structure. I just do whatever I feel like. This is very much like a journal for me, almost. Of a journal that's weird and strange and crazy, but a journal and a place for me to be expressive in any way. And that's alienated me at times. It's alienated me, not by any person. It's not like people are alienating me. It's just alienated me in a way that I knew was going to happen. by not following those formats, or not doing the fundamentals of Booktube in that way, or doing them very often, I have found myself sort of, in some ways, put myself in a box where I don't have as many, maybe, subscribers as I would have. Or, I mean, I'm also just a weird person, so that's part of it. Or I don't have as many commenters, or I don't have as many discussions, or I don't have as much access as I might have. And it's really interesting. It's a very interesting thing. And I don't mind it. I honestly don't. I think sometimes it's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. But for the most part, it's like, it's okay. It's fine. Whatever. I'm doing this for me more than anybody else. But another part of this discussion that I think is interesting is something that Why Mermaids brought up, which is talking about critical reviews, and talking about sort of reviews that are less critical, and talking about the types of videos she made. And her commenters were really great and wonderful, and some of them were talking about how they make their videos as they would, as if they were talking to a family member, or they're not really interested in making critical videos, or they like making critical videos, or whatever. I thought that was also a really interesting discussion to have. I'm also the same way. Some days I want to just gush about a book, and some days I want to be like crazy critical about a book, and some days I want to rant about a book. And again, I think an important thing to do in Booktube is allowing yourself the space to do those things, if you want to do them. And even if you're doing those formats, allowing yourself the space to do whatever you feel like in the moment. It's just giving yourself space. And it doesn't matter if you're following a format or not. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it's really important. I feel like some of us, or a lot of us, or most of us, feel like we get stuck. Feel like we don't know what we're doing. Feel like we are autopiloting. Even if you're like me and you're doing scatterbrained videos, sometimes it feels like you're autopiloting because you're just being scatterbrained, like in autopilot, which is weird, but it sometimes happens. But it's important to give yourself space and leeway and say, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's okay for me to be crazy. It's okay for me to be structured. It's okay for me to be critical. It's okay for me to be not. It's okay for me to be myself. Because this is what this is about. It's about being yourself. And it's about broadcasting those personal experiences you've had with books, those personal experiences you've had with music or movies, or personal experiences you have with life, and talking about them and making connections. So I don't know if that made any sense, but those are my 2 cents that I'm throwing into the world. And I want to know what you think. What do you think about all this? What do you think about this conversation? What do you think about Booktube? I want to know. I'm really curious. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will link those 2 videos that I mentioned in the description. Anyway,